Hi, I'm Ol, your fellow art gym goer, and in this video I want to share my workflow for creating a 3D model for games, from start to finish textured, game-ready 3D model. So maybe you're just starting out your 3D path and you know it is a tough one. So continue watching and start taking notes, and let's get those three-dimensional art muscles pumped up.
So it all starts with this silhouette here. Well, actually it started with the different silhouettes, but I've chosen this one. And I made this character to look spiky because it has to resemble that he's not a simple character, and it's a lot of spiky, pointy bits here in this outfit that show that he could be a nasty character, who knows. This is what you should do when you're trying to show what your character is about. And as you can see, this is all could be divided into triangles. And it's showing that this character could be spiky. After that, I was thinking of the initial sketching that I could do, taking it in the account that these are made in like half an hour. But for those, I needed some kind of references and see maybe a mood board for me to start working with. So let's jump into Pure Ref and see what I got there. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of references. You never use only 1, 2, 5 references. And I must have had maybe 60 for this character. And eventually I've just kept those that I've used and just keep them. So as you can see, there's a mix of different references. For the actual body type or shapes, I did want to make a similar shape as these race of the World of Warcraft had. You would see that it is completely different to what I have, but as a mood board I wanted to go with this kind of strange looking race. For the outfit, there's a mix of maybe 18th century gear and some of the steampunk gear and some of the bits here that resemble sci-fi elements for his backpack I used. Obviously, some of those references I've taken bits of detail and they worked good in my sketch. Some of it didn't work, so I haven't used a lot of those details. Like, for example, these coats. I haven't used the details after all. I have tried fitting them in, but like those belts here, but it didn't work, so I've kind of removed it. While you're looking for your character, this gives you an idea what works and what doesn't work. I do love a steampunk outfit, so look at those details, how many details is in there, and you can find anything here. Just with this one character you would probably have enough for a few steampunk costumes on your character. And there's a lot of cool stuff here and just the textures, and you can use that. Some of the art just gave me an inspiration like this here, and especially this one here. I didn't use exactly any parts of this, but it just gave me an idea that I wanted to use plants on my character and leaves. I went with the leaves, kind of leaves on his head instead of hair. And looking at this fawn here, is this actually a fawn type of character? They don't necessarily all have horns, and you can see that a lot of artists, even in the ancient artists in the mythology, they drew them or sculpted them without horns. So I did like the idea of this, a bark as his body kind of thing. I did like that, and this is kind of what I've wanted to do with the body of my character. But the face, the head would be completely different. And I even thought that I was going to use some wings and maybe he was kind of fawn. Sounds pretty funny, fey fawn. But I've actually parted from this and I've actually sculpted the wings, but I didn't go with it. I think it was too much of the details. You got to be careful with those as well, because it has to make sense, and just everything in your character needs to make sense, at least in the long run. I even looked at some of the teeth. I wanted to give him which teeth he should have had, or was it the human teeth or some different ones. And what I was sure about, and I did that, I gave him an ostrich legs and feet. And that was quite fun, trying to figure out how they actually all attach to the body of a humanoid. Made me sweat a little. And those are the feet of an ostrich. And they look really alien-y and kind of dinosaur look feet. And so I was sure I wanted to give him those feet for my character. I was gonna go with the type of this bat face, masks and steampunk type of goggles, and I like the colors and that, so a lot of it was a mood board for me. So let's have a look what the initial sketch looks like. You can see he has the leaves on his head and goggles, and I've even tried some of the colors, the walking cane. Some of that, I'm not sure what was supposed to be those little bits here, but it's supposed to be like little plants and maybe some light coming off them. But bear with me, this is like half an hour drawing just to see what works and what doesn't work. And then I looked at some more references, and this is what I came up with. You can see the leaves are looking a bit better, and I've changed the color. The initial colors didn't work for me. The bow tie, I did keep the bow tie because I liked it a lot. I've added a mask to him, that steampunk, and some of the tubes going behind, which give me an idea that something would be a backpack, maybe some oxygen pack would be there. I gave him some of those belts. This would be a leather coat, but it would be maybe from some of the creature on that planet. The coat, maybe he stole it from somewhere, who knows. As you can see, these are feathers as well, so he is now a proper ostrich man, ostrich fawn satyr. So some of these worked quite cool for me as well. And the legs, ostrich legs, started to make a bit more sense now, and a bit more anatomy in here that works a bit better. That walking cane started to have a bit more shapes here and a bit more details. So these details here, so maybe like a weapon. I don't know what this was supposed to be, some kind of a crystal. It didn't really work much for me, so I've got rid of it. And I got rid of the bamboo stick. And so I was quite happy with the concept here of this character. It started to make a little bit more sense to me, and I could work with that. So the concept did look like this. So let's jump to the modeling sheet. To make the modeling sheet, I used the dimensions from the concept. Although I could go and just start doing it with all the equipment and so on, but I've actually went and done it separately. Front view, the side view, and the back view. So after that, I've put him into opacity and went through all the details. So I've made the model sheet with all the equipment, front, side, and back view. Same for his backpack. It's all separate because I've made also the modeling sheet for the walking cane, and that helps a lot. You should definitely do those, then import them. I've been using Zbrush for sculpting, and so importing that modeling sheet into Zbrush and just sculpting with the opacity down on the modeling sheet. It's just the way to go. I've even went and got this PDF to look at some of the ostrich anatomy, as how it would attach to the body of the humanoid, and that helped me building it in Zbrush later. So always look for those details and anything that can help you understand and make it more believable, the character. Use it. So now let's jump into the Zbrush and see how was the process from there. So just before jumping into Zbrush, I wanted to show a few initial screenshots that I've taken while making this coat here and equipment. Big bow tie there on him. This is what we have in Zbrush. He has some of the displacement maps on here, which I don't really use later on, but it's just a quick detail on him to have an idea if this is working or not. On here I have fibers for the feathers. As you can see, everything is organized properly with its names, and so that we can quite easily find what we need. When we go to legs, we have the feathers here. Now, for example, I want to show you that first I have used a custom brush for the feathers, and then I used the fibers. This one is the fibers, and this one is a custom brush, which obviously has a lot more polygons, and so you want to optimize it the best you can. Plus with fibers you can use the brushes, like the groom brushes, to give some shape to your feathers. As you can see there, they've been groomed a little. You want to make all symmetrical shape for your character. Everything needs to be symmetrical. You can make some of the asymmetrical elements and details later on. If we look in here, there's also a custom brush, leaves, that I've used first. Leaves. I thought I wanted to find a bit of different look, and I went into the fibers and came up with this. Now obviously this is a mess for trying to UV, so you want to clean those out first so you don't have any problems later on. When I'm posing it, I do clean it up and then prepare it properly for the export for texturing. The legs are made a bit longer and the anatomy is fixed. He does look like a young orc to me. I don't know how that turned out to be. Half orc, half ostrich. At the top I have his walking cane, which I've stylized a lot and make it a lot more simple, but still using some of the details that implement things like that to the weapon. So you can see the lower weapon is made and modeled that you would actually be able to animate it if you need it. Now inside obviously is not that simple. Try and hide this, and there's a blade inside the cane. After taking it into a next project, I've started working on some high poly, fixing the stuff like I had happening here, because it was moved after it was modeled. It was obviously moved, and obviously all these you can see they all made as separate objects. In the next project I do split it all into separate bits and fix it all. As you can see, having quite a few details. All the high polys are not more than 4 million points total. I ended up making this backpack having a little ecosystem in there. The tree I do change a little bit, the branches and so on. I do more of the low poly, because this isn't really a high poly and high level of detail model. I do still want to keep it stylized, and you'd see the idea is that the respirator is connected to the backpack with the tubes, kind of making it the planet that he's on is not necessarily of pure air, and maybe there's some zones where you can't go without a respirator, and he's having this little ecosystem giving him fresh air. As I said, you need to have everything with the clean topology and polygroups. So I suggest splitting it into the polygroups in a way that you can control it easier. It's for the sake of, if you want to change only this part of it, you can use the deformation and the inflate, and it would be changed. This is what we want to do with our three-dimensional art muscles. Yeah, inflate them like that, and go through every object like this and try and make it as believable as you can. So after Dynamesh, Z-remesh it all, you can see that everything is being divided into polygroups, so that I could control everything easier if I needed to change something in his hands and fingers. Those are the little issues you can have when trying to work quickly. And this is easily fixed with ZModeller. And after fixing some of the issues and preparing it for posing, adding some of the details, maybe some asymmetrical details, but I do tend to fix it after it being posed, because a lot of details get squashed and deformed. So I do add some of the details back after posing. And I think this will be it for the part 1, guys. We've looked how it all started with just some simple silhouette, looking through and working with the references, making a concept, and then making a model sheet for the Zbrush, which we can add just in the draw section. And going all the way down, we'll see the snapshots, and we go to the front, back, and on the ZMap 1 and ZMap 2 we are putting what we need. Import model sheet front. As you can see, that adds your model sheet, the side view, left, right. You'd have him there. The only problem, it adds it flipped, or in my case it was flipped. So you go back left and right, hit flip. Now you have it there. You can also move it if you need. I've been moving it around for the other details, but you could use the offset, horizontal offset, to move it around and just have it where you need it. Mind that you have to split your model sheet, so each of your views like this. So crop it right to nearly to to where the fingers start. Guys, in the next video, we'll take a look at my project, at the posing, what issues I had and what I had to fix, how I actually did the posing, because there's different ways to do the posing also. I hope you found this useful, and if you did, let me know in the comments. Maybe you want to share some of the workflow tips with me as well, which I would be grateful for. In the next video, I also want to have a look at UV mapping and the actual texturing. I also want to talk about some of the issues I had while UV mapping, some of the underwater stones with different for texturing, baking normal maps. I will be using high poly to low poly workflow, and I will be using UV layout for the UV mapping, which I think is brilliant, and the Substance Painter and Marmoset tool bag for the texturing, making a turntable and rendering.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. In that case, subscribe, hit the bell icon and a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. And let's get those art muscles pumped up. Let's do it.